Look at evaluating polynomials. And in evaluating polynomials, keeping parentheses with variables become very important because we're going to be dealing with exponents. And exponents and powers play with the positive and negative signs. When we evaluate, we want to make sure that when we are replacing the variable, we are only putting things into the variable. And parentheses will be our tool that will help us do this. So we're going to look at some examples of this on how we evaluate our polynomials. So we have x cubed minus 2x. Now, if x equals 2, anywhere we see x in here, we're going to replace with 2. So I'll start by bringing my parentheses down. And wherever I saw x, I'm going to replace it with 2. And then we'll use our calculators. 2 cubed is 8. 2 times 2 is 4, keeping our order of operations. And 8 minus 4 is 4. So we've evaluated the polynomial x cubed minus 2x when x equals 2. Well, let's keep the same polynomial. I'm going to change colors here. I want to say x equals negative 2. And I'm highlighting how a sign change can affect things here. So I'm going to take my parentheses. And make sure my parentheses come across. So I'm going to have negative 2 and negative 2. Negative 2 cubed. Now notice the minus sign is in the parentheses. So this becomes negative 8. A negative times a negative is positive. So that's plus 4. Negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. So evaluating polynomials, we have done evaluating expressions. Evaluating polynomials is what we did with evaluating expressions. Because we know exponents are being played, we're going to pay special attention to how our exponent rules and to make sure that we use our parentheses. So let's look at another one here. I'll switch to a nice plum color for that. So 5x squared minus x plus 4. So this is our polynomial expression. If we review back, it's degree 2, so it's a quadratic. And we're going to say what happens if x equals 2. So my 5 comes here. I get my parentheses for my x. Minus, I'll do my parentheses again. Remember, I want to be making sure that my variable comes across, and when I evaluate in, it's only affecting the parts that are the variable. So I'll place my 2 into each of those parentheses. Now my order of operations says I'll do my power first, so 5 times 4 minus 2 plus 4. Now I'll do my multiplication. 20 minus 2 plus 4. Now I get to go left to right. 18 plus 4, or 22. And we're going to say, well, what happens if x equals negative 2? And we're taking the same expression up here, but we're now going to put in x equals negative 2. So again, I'm going to start. Let me scroll up a bit here. Let's see. Let me make sure. What I want to do is I'm going to copy the whole thing over, and then I'm going to scroll up so we see it all in one place. We're using the same expression with negative 2. So there we go. So I'm going to take my parentheses. I'm going to put them in. And now I know that whatever x is going to drop right into those parentheses. That's a -2. And that's a -2. Order of operations says that I do my squares first, my exponents first. So this is -2 times -2. The negative sign is in the parentheses. So a negative times a negative is a positive. So that's going to come out +4. Minus 2 plus 4. Now, I'm going to do my multiplications. So I have 20 out here, but I also have this negative times a negative happening here. So we'll say +2 plus 4. And if I do my additions now, left to right, I get 26. And this is how we evaluate polynomials. The thing to note is if you see a negative x squared, when I draw my parentheses, that negative is outside. So when I go to evaluate, I'm not squaring the negative. So for a term that's -x squared, if x were to equal 2, put my parentheses in, I get 2 squared, which is 4, but I still have the negative outside, so it becomes -4. The parentheses that we're using when we evaluate replace the variable only. All the other operations and everything around them stay where they were in position. The square is still out here to the parenthesis, and the negative is still out here. And so we have to keep this in mind when we do order of operations. -x squared, when x equals 2, is equal to -4. All right. And there'll be some homework where we'll play with evaluating polynomials as we're going to start building the tools we need to start seeing the patterns that happen with polynomials. And these patterns are what we're going to start picking out. And we're going to do that by remembering to write our coefficients first and to write our polynomials in descending order of degree. This way we can look to different parts of these monomials, binomials, and trinomials will develop so that we can take those parts, know where they are, and develop the deeper patterns.